What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about Bitcoin and a few altcoins real quick. So I am here on the FTX chart. I drew these lines back over here. It was like on this candle, I drew these two lines. And honestly, I don't remember what I based them on. I had reason to draw them at the time, but I don't know why they were there. But the fact is they became very relevant through this whole piece. Now we're breaking above that pretty clearly. We've got this level here. Excuse me. We've got this level over here that we are about to test. Sorry, I've been using dark chart backgrounds for a couple days. I don't really think I like it as much. I think I'll probably stick to white. So we're about to test this high right here. I'm very close to it. It's at 12,326. I definitely expect to get there. Through this whole thing, I've been watching a couple things here. We had this move. We had this move. So I was wondering if we were going to have this move. Similar to both of these, smaller degree than this one, but similar degree to this one. Timeline, we were looking at 21 days here. Promise next time I will get my drawings ready before I start the video. So 22 days, 21, 22 days from this high to this low. Currently, we're on day 15, so we could have another week before we start a move up again. And even after this first move here, we had a little blip before the real impulse. So it's possible that we do come down again and do something like this and go. That being said, if we go down to the 4 hour, gosh, that looks bullish. I am not ready to close my longs. So it is very possible that we come up a little higher, something like this, and make a structure like this. Now, I don't believe this wick was the low of this first move. I think that was just from leverage. So I believe this was the low, or even this one here. Which one, it doesn't matter. But essentially, I am suggesting that we have an impulse up, and we started a corrective pattern here. There is a possibility that our corrective pattern was complete right here. In that case, we just continue up. What you want to do for that situation, depending on where you opened longs, so you didn't open longs until in here, until you thought we were going to expand out of this. I have some positions that I added in here. I'm still long from below, but I added positions in here. So now I can trail my stop up. I wouldn't put it here. I would put it at the bottom of the candle body. We could definitely still come back down. In that case, we take profits on our longs right here, or a little higher if you got a worse entry. But you don't want to put it so close that we have another scenario like this. I would put it in profit, probably not much higher than 12,000. Personally, if we're going to go up and come back down, then I believe that we have an A, let me do it this way. This is our low. I believe we have an A, B, C, or WXY, however you want to label it. Realistically, it's probably a WXY because I count 3, 3, 5. So this is one move. This is one move. And then something like 3, 3, and then an impulse out of it. An impulsive subwave out of it. So a 1-to-1 of that move would be from this low, nope, missed, to this high, and this low. So we've reached that target. We don't necessarily have to go higher. We could though. 150 is kind of the high I would like to see it at, which is 12,680. 125 would be nice for me as well, which should be right around 12,400. Probably just slightly higher. My settings won't open here. 125. 12,437. So I would be perfectly fine with those levels as targets and still coming back down. It might be an instant rejection, but it also might be like this. And I'd be looking to buy 11,385. Most likely, once we hit this level, we would have some kind of bottoming pattern before going up again. So you don't have to insta-buy here. We have seen times where it just reverses. That's less likely, but possible. For me, I will get into some of a position here, and as we move, I will add to it. Any prolonged sideways, I will be exceptionally deep in Bitcoin longs. That being said, right now, it seems very possible that we just continue up. And I am positioned. I'm already in a long. I'm already pretty significantly long. So if we just continue up, I'm fine with that. I just want to be aware of this possibility. In my added longs, I close and I reopen. If we look at EOS, you can see a similar pattern here. It looked very likely that this was a continuation pattern for some kind of A, B, C. And look where we ended up. So it really extended through there. Even if we grab this low, if this is A, this is the bottom of B, this move was 200%. of the A wave. So for this to be an ABC is pretty extreme. Personally, I'd still accept it. I would still consider this valid as a massive flat. Probably end up looking like this. But a lot of you would call me crazy and say, no, Sean, this is just an impulse and a retracement. This is a 1-2. That's fine. I don't care. Whatever works for you, works for you. For me, flats are more common, even when they're exaggerated like this. So I would still accept that. But look at these wicks. These wicks right now are pretty hefty. Shows a lot of buyback. This is quite an extreme extension of an ABC. If you zoom out even further, this was one of the strongest moves we've had on the entire move up. So for this to be part of a B wave would be quite unusual. So it's charts like this that make me think, hey, maybe we don't come back down at all. Perhaps we just continue up. EOS really isn't one I'm trading. I do think it has a lot of upside potential. Realistically, I'm expecting it to take out at least this low before the longer term correction. Excuse me, this high. So that's a pretty significant move. It's almost 2x. Litecoin is one I'm focusing on right now. I've charted it, posted it already. Let's take some of this off. Excuse me. My cough is getting better, but it's still there. Obviously, when I talk a lot, it comes out a little bit more. For me, let's go down to the 4 hour. Well, let's talk about targets here first. We should take out this higher low, and I want to reach up here too. I think 150 is a very real target. This candle looks pretty good. Right now, I would suggest this is a continuation up type candle. For me, it doesn't fit the narrative. We've got a break of a downtrend here, and it doesn't fit the narrative that this is some kind of A, B, C for another move down. I would accept the EOS structure before I accept this one. This to me looks like we're heading up. Any retracements would probably be a signal to buy. You watch for the downtrend break of the retracement and you buy. I just don't know that it's coming. I don't know that we have any more downside. Let's look at the dollar real quick. We're just going to glance at it. Yeah, I suggested we might have some kind of ABC form, but you can see it's breaking down. It's breaking down without any kind of consolidation. At some point, I do think that we'll see a bounce, which for me at this point looks like we have an A, a B, a C, and then continue down again. The other one I'm focusing on right now is XRP. So I'd suggest that we could have one more down. That remains a possibility, just as we've talked about on the other charts. I continue to think it's more likely that we're just done here. We broke this downtrend, consolidated above it, and impulsed out of it. This is a decent rejection though. 1 hour looks like it could come down. So it's very possible. We have to watch for both options. Again, XRP, I'm already long. If we retrace, you have a chance to get in. At minimum, I'm looking for this level here. I believe that was a weekly level based on weekly closes. So at minimum, I'm looking for a 60% move. This is not my exact setup. My stop is higher than this. This was just an idea I posted before. But you see, we have this long-term downtrend. We broke over, consolidated over it, and now I believe we're on the way up. I personally think our long-term bottom is in, guys. On XRP, we've got a W, X, Y complete. I think this is it. I think we could come up here, maybe push through, consolidate for a while, and then I think we're continuing up. That's market wide. I just happen to be on the XRP chart while I'm showing you that. Weekly momentum just flipped blue. I think I may add to my XRP position here. I'll probably wait a little bit longer. I'd like to see how these develop. But especially if we move back up towards this wick, I'll probably add to my XRP position. I've got a decent entry already, so I'm able to add to it without really adding risk. All right, guys, that's everything I got. Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions, or just throw your questions on Twitter.